Hey everybody, welcome, welcome to Hidden Horror. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate that. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to Hidden Horror. I'm coming to you to bring you an update on what's been going on with the investigation with the rally shooter in Pennsylvania that attempted to assassinate President Trump. And unfortunately, because we have wide use of technology, the internet, I discovered that Mr. Crooks, he looked into the mass shooter, Ethan Crumbley. You may or may not know about Ethan Crumbley. I have an entire playlist on Ethan Crumbley and also his parents, James and Jennifer Crumbley. He was the mass shooter in the state of Michigan. He went to his high school and he unalived 4 of the classmates or other students at the high school, and he injured others. He pled guilty. He is currently serving life without parole. And both his parents were convicted. They were the first parents to be convicted of a level of homicide relating to a mass shooting. They were convicted of involuntary manslaughter. In both James and Jennifer Crumbley, they were sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison. So I discovered from doing some more research and looking into Mr. Crooks that he had looked into the mass shooting that Ethan Crumbley did at his high school, Oxford High School in Oxford, Michigan. So I'm going to catch you up to the investigation, what they have found out more about Mr. Thomas Crooks. So I'm going to share with you an article. Of course, it's linked on the Hidden Horror Facebook page. If you ever need to know the sources of the information I've been sharing, any video links, it will always be on the Hidden Horror Facebook page. That is my main source for all the videos, all the links, any background information will be there. If you're looking for any playlists of Pacific groups like Diablo Redding, the Idaho 4 murders, anybody, Moses May, the man that allegedly held his child's mother in a home and was threatening to unalive her. I have all of my individual cases in play in horror to go to the playlist, and you can just play video after video. I want to let you know that I almost have 100 subscribers on YouTube. So I want to thank all of my friends out here online that have been watching my videos, sharing my videos, liking my videos, subscribing to my YouTube channel, as well as please subscribe to my Facebook. Also, I have to have 100 subscribers now. Since June, Facebook enacted a new rule. You have to have 100 followers, subscribers to go live. What I have to do now is upload the video individually on Facebook and also on X. So I am now subscribed as a basic premium subscriber. I am allowed to upload videos up to 3 hours on X. So I will be doing uploads on X and then uploads on Facebook as well. So if the content comes out a little bit slower, it's only because I have more behind the scenes work to do. On top of, as I said to you, I'm going to have the new backgrounds, which you are seeing now. And also I want to do a new introduction video I've been wanting to do since last year. I want to tell you, I've been here for 1 year, still going strong, still have a ton of people that I'm talking about, incidents that I'm talking about, and I'm going to create a safety tip playlist just to talk about safety, because I have a video that I still owe about S abusers and some safety tips to keep your children safe. And then my daughter, she's going to join me and talk about something that she saw on TikTok. It is something new, where people are using money to poison and basically traffic primarily women. So she found that article. She's not going to sit with me today, maybe in a few days, to do that video when she's ready, because I want her to take the lead. It's something that she found, it was interesting, and she shared it with me. But we have a lot of content coming out. We still have so many playlists. Please, the Alexi Treviso possible trial, she's supposed to go to court July, let me see, 22nd, I believe it's Monday, for her pre-trial hearing. Her trial is set to start in August. We don't know if that's going to move forward time-wise, because the prosecutor has decided to appeal the judge's decision about some of the video and some of Alexis Treviso's statements. Please check out that playlist. This is the young woman. She was 19 years old. She gave birth in a hospital bathroom, allegedly, and she allegedly put her newborn into a plastic trash bag, put his body into a trash can to conceal it, and did not inform the hospital that she gave birth, that she needed assistance, or that her baby needed assistance, medical assistance. So I'm following that case as well. So we got a lot of cases going on. I know coming up in about the next 2 or 3 months, we have Nagazi Zuberi. If you've watched the playlist on him, I definitely compare him and his actions to that. In my opinion, he reminds me of Ted Bundy, traveling throughout the United States, allegedly committing these assaults and possibly more crimes, right? So he reminds me definitely of Ted Bundy, in my opinion, and his trial will be coming up in October. So we just have a lot of content going on. And I want you, please subscribe on Facebook. Please share, like, all of that. If you choose to, you don't have to do any of it if you don't want to. I don't get anything out of it as of right now, because there's ways now to monetize, like on X and all of the platforms, YouTube, but you have to have so many parameters and all of that. So I'm not doing any of that right now. But still, I'm here trying to bring you regular content to keep you safe and all of that. So anyway, let's get to the video. This article is coming from CNN.com. It's titled, "Investigators Piece Together a Puzzling Portrait of the Shooter Who Sought to Assassinate Trump." The article is dated July 19, 2024. It's written by Zachary Cohen, Evan Perez, Casey Tolan, and Kurt Devine. And I'm going to try to read it. After conducting more than 200 interviews and combing through his phone and internet search history, federal investigators have pieced together an early portrait of the man who sought to assassinate former President Donald Trump. Thomas Matthew Crooks was an intelligent, unassuming loner who expressed an interest in guns and was far from outspoken about politics. But the emerging profile of Crooks nearly a week after the shooting has left authorities puzzled about a motive for his assault and has had investigators speculating that his intentions may have been less politically motivated and more about attacking the highest profile target near him. So what they're stating is it wasn't due to politics or any type of political affiliation. He was seeking to attack someone that was notably high profile, because that would then give him the attention that he desired. Okay, let's continue. The investigation remains in its early stages, officials caution. Still, in some ways, Crooks seems similar to the dozens of other young men who wreaked havoc across the U.S. with high powered assault style rifles in recent years. He had few close friends. He would often go shooting at a local firing range, and he didn't seem to display strongly held views that would suggest a politically driven assassination, according to CNN interviews with law enforcement and a review of notes from a briefing to Congress. Well, let me say this because I know a lot about the Ethan Crumbley case, as well as his parents, Jennifer and James Crumbley. And we do have to say that when we're looking at the two individuals, Ethan Crumbley and then Mr. Thomas Crooks, Ethan was 15 years old in November of 2021 when he did the mass shooting at Oxford High School. Now, Mr. Crooks, he is 20 years old when he attempted to assassinate Donald Trump. Okay. Also, we have to look at not just that they both use these high power assault rifles, we also have to look at I believe Mr. Crooks could have selected a different venue, a different target. Whereas I believe with Ethan Crumbley's case, by him being underage at 15 years old, I think he took the opportunity to select something that he was doing on a daily basis, which was regularly going to school. I think he had access to the school. I think he felt that he could take that GUN to the school. And I think he had researched prior mass shootings, watching violent videos, etc. Whereas I think with Thomas Crooks, he was an adult, of course, but also he could have went and did this mass act of shooting into a group, a crowd, at the grocery store, at a movie theater, at a baseball game. Like this action could have happened anywhere. Whereas I think there were different limitations to Ethan Crumbley mentally that he did what I feel was something familiar and I don't want to say easy, but I think he felt he could carry that out. Whereas I don't think he expanded his thinking to something else. And that could be due to age, right? In both instances, in either Crumbley's instance, his parents, James and Jennifer Crumbley, allegedly, I want to say allegedly, purchased him the GUN as an early Christmas present. In Mr. Crooks' case, it is reported in the news that his father purchased him the GUN. But either way, they both had access to a GUN. They acquired the access to the GUN. They obtained the GUN from home. So it makes you think, should GUNs be in homes with minors, especially minors that are exhibiting, issues, violent thoughts, maybe mental health problems, etc. Um, I think we also have to look at who was the target. So in Ethan Crumbley's case, and he wrote about it in his journal extensively, he drew pictures. He was targeting fellow students, other students at the high school. In one of his drawings, he talked about his first person was going to be a pretty girl. He kind of fantasized about who he wanted to unalive, and he wanted that number to be high, and he wanted to be known as a mass shooter and have the greatest mass shooting in the state of Michigan as far as the number of deaths. Now, we don't have any writings as of yet. We don't have, any post or video extensively in comparison to what we had in the Ethan Crumbley case. But in Mr. Crooks' case, from watching that video of the shooting so many times, I I believe that he narrowly focused and targeted President Donald Trump. It does not appear that he was trying to openly shoot into the crowd, meaning that he wanted multiple people to be shot. Now, I'm talking about intentions. I'm not talking about what actually happened because we all know bullets don't have names. You can't direct the bullet. Once it's released, you can't control. It's going to stop once it hits something, right? But from watching the video and the number of shots, he didn't have as many shots as, for example, Ethan Crumbley. But I believe all of his shots were focused and targeted to President Donald Trump. So, in thinking about, you know, is Mr. Crooks like other mass shooters? Um, I just I don't think we can compare everything. I would be looking more to learn about his mindset, his thoughts. What was he doing in the years prior to the mass shooting? Okay, I'm hearing qualities that, he was a loner. Ethan Crumbley was somewhat of a loner. Thomas Crooks didn't have really any friends. Ethan Crumbley pretty much had one friend and he ended up moving away. Ethan Crumbley also experienced death with his paternal grandmother passing away. He also experienced, if you want to call it, some neglect from his parents. He talked about his mental health issues. Now, with Mr. Crooks, all of this is slowly developing as we go day to day, and I'm sure we're going to find out more information. But we would want to know more about his family life. How was he as a student? I watched some videos, and surprisingly, people that went to high school with Mr. Crooks, they were really stating that, they didn't see this coming, that he was not a political person. Um, he was quiet. He was someone that was very intelligent, that always had the right answer, etc. So that is very different from how Ethan Crumbley is described. It was known that the day before the mass shooting, the night before the mass shooting, his parents had talked to him allegedly about his grades and how he had to improve. And he went outside and did the approximately 20-minute video about how he was going to go to school the next day and have the mass shooting. And that's what he did. Whereas in this case of Mr. Crooks, we just don't have a lot of details yet, but I think you can see some similarities, but I guess we will see as time goes on. I think the glaring difference is Mr. Crooks targeted President Donald Trump, one person, from watching the video, versus Ethan Crumbley wanted to have this great mass shooting and as many victims as he could. He wanted high numbers, whereas it appears that Mr. Crooks was targeting President Donald Trump only. Not to say that other people were not injured, and also one person, Mr. Comfortor, was killed unalive. So let's continue with the article. Okay. Because it is kind of interesting to compare and contrast the incidents. Okay. So the investigation remains in its early stages, officials caution. Still, in some ways, Crooks seems similar to the dozens of other young men who've wreaked havoc across the U.S. with high-powered assault-style rifles in recent years. He had few close friends. He would often go shooting at a local firing range, and he didn't seem to display strongly held views that would suggest a politically driven assassination. According to CNN interviews with law enforcement and a review of notes from a briefing to Congress. In addition to the former president, Crooks has searched online about President Joe Biden and have photos on his phone of other prominent figures from both parties. He searched for the location of Trump's rally as well as the upcoming Democratic National Convention, the briefing notes say, and discovered that Trump planned to appear just an hour's drive away from his home in the Pittsburgh suburbs. Now, this might suggest proximity. I kind of joke a little bit with my daughter about proximity and how when dating, you know, um, you can be easy and guys will talk to you, they will like you, and they tend to date someone that is consistent and things like that. And it kind of goes a little bit along with this, proximity. This rally being closer, it's about what do you have access to, what is easier, going this 1 hour drive or going to another state. you know uh Same thing with Ethan Crumbley. I feel that it was proximity. He's probably not thinking outside of the realm of the high school because he's seen so many different mass shootings in his research of mass shootings that people did right at the high school. Um, I think it's maybe the same thing with Mr. Crooks. He's going to do a violent act that's closer to home, that's easier for him to get to, that's not going to require as much as proximity. So, anyway, let's continue. That suggests Crooks may have been looking to carry out a high profile shooting, and the Trump event's proximity and timing offered the most accessible opportunity, federal officials have speculated. Even though he didn't get his primary target, the shooter was successful in a lot of ways because he got closer to doing something no one has done in decades. One federal official told CNN, referring to the assassination of a presidential candidate. I'm never going to be comfortable with saying he was successful. This is an awful incident. We do not want people to be attacked, targeted, shot at, or anything like that. So I'm never going to use that type of term relating to anything close to assassination attempt. No, there hasn't been assassination attempt in decades, but we're not going to say, hey, this person was successful in getting some kind of attention for trying. I just don't support that commentary. But I'll continue. It remains unclear if Crooks intended to carry out a much larger attack and started with Trump because that was the way to gain the most notoriety. Crooks had also searched for information on another recent mass shooter who shot and killed four classmates at a Michigan high school in 2021. The web searches about the shooter, Ethan Crumbley, are consistent with law enforcement officials have seen in other mass shooters who research people they wish to emulate, in part as a way to form their own idea of how to do something bigger, the federal official said. So he's basically saying that they're researching prior mass shootings and the actors of the mass shooting so they can figure out how to become bigger, more recognized, more in the media with their mass shooting. So they're doing their research and they're planning and plotting. Okay, I did want to share some pictures of him while I continue this article. So there are some various pictures of Mr. Crooks. So I'm going to continue the article. But there are also significant differences between Crooks' behavior and that of a typical mass shooter. On the day of the attack, Crooks appeared to have been specifically targeting Trump, not aiming at the crowds in an attempt to unalive as many people as possible. While he had an improvised explosive in the trunk of his car, it's not clear if he planned to set it off to unalive people or as a distraction. Kathleen Puckett, a former FBI behavioral analyst who worked on the case of the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, said that Crooks also appeared to have less firepower than many mass shooters who often carry multiple weapons and wear body armor. Try to enlarge that picture. Yeah, you can get a good picture of his face. It didn't look to me like he was ready for an assault, Puckett said, while noting the limits of publicly available information. It looked to me like he was taking a window that he saw a vulnerability in where he felt that he was unobserved to the extent he could get off some critical shots. In addition, unlike other mass shooters who often leave behind writings to explain their attacks, authorities have thus far recovered few clues in Crooks' bedroom or online. That is frustrating. Experts who are trying to piece together his mindset and raising comparisons with Stephen Paddock, the gunman who killed 60 people in Las Vegas in 2017, nearly 7 years after America's deadliest mass shooting. Investigators still do not know why Paddock pulled the trigger. I remember the Las Vegas shooting. It was pretty shocking. I'm not going to really talk about it, but I do remember the shooting. I remember the video. I'm going to show another picture of him. I don't like showing him in this picture with this shirt, so I'm going to switch it. Okay. Let me continue the article. 1 second. Like the Las Vegas massacre, this may be a situation where the more we know, the less we understand about the exact reason why, said Juliet Kayyem, a former assistant secretary at the Department of Homeland Security and a CNN national security analyst. Crooks' family members told investigators he did not openly discuss politics, and evidence recovered at his home shed no further light on his political values or ideology. According to a readout shared with CNN that details a briefing that FBI and U.S. Secret Service officials gave lawmakers Wednesday, Mary Ellen O'Toole, a former FBI profiler, said that based on the evidence assembled so far, she thought that Trump's rally was very appealing to Crooks in part because it fell in his backyard. This gave him incredible attention and catapulted him to a point where I think that's why he chose this, she speculated. Still, Puckett called lone offenders who largely remain invisible before attacks one of the prickliest problems out there for law enforcement and warned against a rush to find simple answers about Crook's motive. Whatever his story turns out to be is not going to be simplistic. I don't think it's going to be more complicated, Puckett said. You don't want the simplistic version. You want every detail you can find. I agree. You have to learn the mindset of these people that are committing these extraordinary acts of violence. Okay? So I want to wrap this video up with the video that was enclosed in that article. So I have to share my screen one more time. It's not a long video. It's just I think it's less than 2 minutes. So it's 3 minutes. Okay, let's go.
Hours before the attempted assassination, Thomas Crooks begins his day scoping out the rally site, sources tell CNN. He arrives mid-morning and stays for 70 minutes, then drives more than an hour back home where he picks up an AR-type rifle. His father later tells authorities he thought Crooks was going to the shooting range. Crooks buys ammunition at a local gun shop and travels back to the rally site. 5:10 p.m., local police first spot Crooks. Around the same time, he's seen in this video obtained by CNN affiliate WTAE walking outside the perimeter of the rally in front of the building he would later climb. At 5:33 p.m., the motorcade for former President Donald Trump arrives as the eager crowd awaits. About 15 minutes later, Pennsylvania State Police notified the Secret Service of a suspicious person and share a photo of Crooks. Counter snipers are alerted, according to a congressional briefing by law enforcement, but officers lose sight of him. Moments before Trump walks out, counter snipers can be seen facing opposite directions.
Wait a minute, did they just say they lost sight of him? If you have a person of interest, particularly if you're giving a tip, I would believe that as a security measure, you'd want to search that crowd to figure out where this person is. I had read somewhere that when he entered the rally, he had a scope on him, the same scope that snipers use. I don't know. I guess I would be triggered by that, to do something about that, to keep eyes on this person, to watch the whereabouts of the comings and goings of this person. And now just hearing that he pretty much got to the rally early in the morning, prior to the rally coming almost in the evening, he was planning, he was plotting, he was preparing to follow through and make a plan and see the layout to prepare for this. So this is like really unfortunate. Some people, they practice what they're going to do before they do it, and we want to take note. We always want to take note of outliners, people that are outside of the norm for this event. So I'm going to continue the video and back it up just a little bit. So
Trump takes the stage at 6:02 p.m.
I was trying to back it up,
His
but
team was not informed of the suspicious sighting. 2 minutes before the first shot, the counter sniper on the building.
So they pause for a second. They said that they were notified about him and they had a picture of him at 5:48. So from 5:48 to 6:09, that's about 20 minutes. Were there security staff on the ground searching for him? They're saying that the shooter was here. And wouldn't he have been visible if he was on a slated roof? If people could see the shooter from the ground, wouldn't he have been visible, especially to the counter snipers, the other shooters? I don't know what his clothing was or if he changed his clothing, but I would think that he would be visible on a roof. Did they have people standing on the roof or just snipers laying down on the roof? On top of, they had already been made aware, potentially, we don't know what aware means, what was in that notice besides the picture. Was there anything that said he was a threat or that he had a weapon? Because to me, that would be 20 minutes. That's quite a bit of time lapse between getting the notification and then having the leading up to the actual shooting. You know, what was done by law enforcement, the security staff at the time. I was trying to rewind. Yeah, here it is. I want to rewind it a little bit. Okay.
Minutes later, Pennsylvania State Police notified the Secret Service of a suspicious person and share a photo of Crooks.
So they notified the Secret Service of a suspicious person. I wonder, where did that tip come from? Is this something they seen? Was it the sniper scope when he entered? Was it his behavior? Where was the weapon? If he went home in the morning, returned at 5:10, did he have the weapon with him? Was he carrying it? Was he hiding it in a backpack? Um, what was part of the suspicious person alert? And they had a picture of him. So I don't know. I'm just thinking of prevention, of what security measures, what barriers could be in place to have prevented this or prevented in the future.
Counter snipers are alerted, according to a congressional briefing by law.
So they just said that the counter snipers, and those are the snipers on the other two buildings, they were alerted. So they didn't see Mr. Crooks laying on that other building when people that were on the ground, these were just rally goers, they could see him and they were lower. So if you're elevated and these buildings don't seem to be too far off from the same height, how did the snipers not see him? Were they looking for him? Yeah, I have a lot of questions.
Law enforcement, but officers lose sight of him. Moments before Trump walks out, counter snipers can be seen facing opposite directions.
So those counter snipers were standing up. Oh. Yeah, just a missed opportunity. Yeah, just a missed opportunity not to stop this and thwart the shooting.
Trump takes the stage at 6:02 p.m.
I wonder. I'm sorry, I'm just chopping up this video, but I wonder, how often is it that the main speaker, he's a former president, he's running as a candidate for the presidency, how often is it that you won't prevent them from doing their speech and making an appearance when you have this suspicious activity? You have a suspect that you're looking for that you cannot find. You don't know their whereabouts. Would it have been better for President Donald Trump not to make an appearance due to this pending unresolved issue, security threat? Would it have been better for him not to make an appearance at all? Let's rewind that.
To a congressional briefing by law enforcement, but officers lose sight of him. Moments before Trump walks out, counter snipers can be seen facing opposite directions. Trump takes the stage at 6:02 p.m. His team was not informed of the suspicious sighting. 2 minutes before.
Wait. So they're saying that his team was not informed. I have to rewind that back. That doesn't make sense. When the suspicious activity alert went out to the Secret Service, they never informed President Trump's team. So what does that mean? That means that the immediate people protecting the safety of President Donald Trump didn't know, they weren't aware of this suspicious person or this alert. I just want to rewind that back and hear that again, because that seems like a failure of communication.
Officers lose sight of him. Moments before Trump walks out, counter snipers can be seen facing opposite directions. Trump takes the stage at 6:02 p.m.
Okay, so at 6:02, and they got the notification at 5:48. That's about 14 minutes. They never notified Trump's team of this person. That's a long time. I'm sure they have a way to communicate, and I don't know if it's walkie-talkies, if it's cell phones, but they should have been briefed on what was going on.
His team was not informed of the suspicious sighting. 2 minutes before the first shot, the counter sniper.
So let's look at that again.
Sniper on the building closest to the shooter's location adjusts his position.
Something going on, man. Something's going on.
On the ground outside the perimeter, people start reacting to movement on the roof of a nearby building.
Look, they're all pointing.
A uniformed officer can be seen walking toward the building.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look.
So if they see that somebody's on top of the roof, what is the protocol? Do you try to confront them? Do you see the weapon? Why are they laying on that roof? Do you, inform the snipers to take them out? I don't know what the proper protocol would be. And then are you thinking, is this the person that we got the alert on?
There he is right there. Right there, see him? He's laying down.
About 10 seconds later, a separate counter-sniper team on the southern building turns around 180 degrees to face the shooter's building. On the ground, people alert law enforcement.
Officer, people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous.
So it looks like he had like a sand-colored pair of pants and maybe like a olive green or light green shirt, long sleeve. He definitely lifted up. I mean, I could see him from a distance. So how could the snipers not see him?
Criminals. We have criminals.
He's
We
on
have
the roof. He's
drug
right
dealers. We have people that
right
should not be
here, right
here.
on the roof.
And you can literally hear the rally goers saying, hey, he's on the roof. He's right here. We see him. I wonder why none of them tried to get away. And they weren't fearful of being, shot. They're calling him out. Like they're trying to get law enforcement's attention.
Seconds later, another video shows an officer walking backwards, apparently looking up. A man approaches and points to the shooter's location. The officer turns and walks out of frame. At the same time, 2 counter-sniper teams are captured in these photos.
Like, you're right there on the ground. You have to realize this person got on the roof some way. You should be trying to gain access to that roof, letting those snipers know so they can do something about it, especially if he has a weapon, which I'm not sure if they saw that or not. But if they have those scopes, I thought they could see stuff like that. I don't know how far of a distance they would need to, they would work, but it's just my thought.
Aiming in the direction of the shooter.
Where is he?
Realizing the danger, the crowd outside the perimeter starts rushing away. On the other side of the field, a counter sniper can be seen peering through his scope at the
And see, this is right here in these moments where you take President Donald Trump off that stage. You quickly remove him. And I don't know what the protocol is. I'm just saying, if you're seeing someone in this fashion, this is typically taking the higher ground to, discharge that weapon. You're seeing people run. You've confirmed on the ground that somebody's up there. You take President Donald Trump off that stage. You stop the rally. You let the people know afterwards there is a potential, actor here. We're trying to keep everybody safe. Please stay calm as we address this issue. But that didn't happen.
Direction of the building where the shooter is.
What happened?
Shots are fired at 6:11 p.m. Trump is injured. The gunman is taken out seconds later. On his body, law enforcement find a remote transmitter to detonate explosives that were later discovered in his car, along with a drone, a tactical vest, and more ammo. Investigators also.
So he had a remote to basically set off the bomb on him. Wow, a lot of people could have been hurt. A lot more people could have been hurt. It's really sad.
Also found the shooter's cell phone on his body. It had a screenshot of the live stream of the rally. It was taken 10 minutes before the shooting. And the search history of the cell phone showed that he had looked up articles about prominent U.S. politicians, both Democrats and Republicans. Kyunghwa, CNN, Bethel Park, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Just going through like the details and, trying to unpack what happened and some of those security mistakes, failures, that probably could have prevented this from happening. I'm sure there's going to be an investigation. It needs to be an investigation because with the time that the information was known, a picture of him was known, on top of Mr. Crooks being visibly on that roof. It just seemed like there was time to do something about it, and maybe things could have been different. I'm going to continue to bring you details as they come out. This is all to help us so we gain the knowledge of their mindset, these shooters, these mass shooters. Please remember, check out my playlist on Ethan Crumbley and his parents, James and Jennifer Crumbley, if you're interested. And I will continue to update you as the story continues to unfold and develop. Remember, please stay smart, stay safe, stay savvy. All my friends, be well. Bye, everybody.